So we've had to replace the ignition coil from a cylinder 5. We've been using this cool little OEM scanner, just Bluetooth straight to the phone. It is brilliant. Apparently it's only like 20 bucks from AliExpress kind of thing. So yeah, they are awesome. And still had the engine light come up, but clear the fault codes and then reread through them on this app, and clearing those fault codes has made the engine light go away. So I think the engine light must have been there saying, hey, this was a problem, and I'm going to keep saying there's a problem until you see a mechanic or you get those codes cleared. So we'll see if it comes back, but that should be good. The only other thing to do to this before we try and sell it is a brake pad or two, so we'll look into that and see what we need to do. Another little project we've got running on the side has been this. This is a power supply board for an amplifier for some giant speakers I've got up there. One of the first things I ever got with a paycheck. And it popped a fuse a few times. The first time it did was because it was on a 110 volt input, and yeah, this little variable, a varistor actually, that's what it is, that had absolutely blown, because you can see the marks of where it went there on the camera. Yep. So I ordered a new one of those, soldered it through, put another fuse in, and it went pop again. So I've actually desoldered this off after testing, of course. What this did was switch between 230 or 110, and I found out that this board naturally sits at 230, and you have to switch it to the 110 volt, which is not something I'm ever going to want to do. So just got rid of that piece completely. All it is a switch. Yeah, meanwhile, I've found another piece on this that's gone, which was the BAM. So you can't really tell that it's gone, except it tests bad across some of the legs. This is a rectifier, supposing a bridge rectifier. So I'll get a new one of those components in, and then we'll replace that, resolder that onto this part of the board here, new fuse, and hopefully that'll be that, because it was quite a big fuse, a big bang when it went. So I've actually tested these two and this one here. I've desoldered them, taken them off, tested them, they test fine. And so yeah, so we've just got to work through it bit by bit. All the capacitors look good, but it'd be really great to get this amplifier up and working again, because it blew up about 5 years ago, and I've literally just had it sitting in a corner since. So there we go. The oven's gone, and we've got a set of drawers for Emma to finally have somewhere to put all of her clothes. So she's going to sort that out now. We need to put a new handle on this something, so might order one from Mitre 10 or something like that. And we're thinking of taking this shelf out, because it was a TV cabinet, putting a bar in across the top, and being able to hang some clothes, because that's how you like it.
That is how I like it.
Yes. Meanwhile, I'll get onto this electrical stuff so we can have some lights tonight. That'd be good, wouldn't it?
Oh yeah. Light comes on.
Sure.
Yeah. Wake up! Oh! Fuck off, Sam.
Oh, you didn't get it on the light, did you?
No.
Careful.
You could come do this.
Yeah, but I don't know how. You're so much better at it than me.
No, I'm not. Just let me exercising me anyway.
Oh, I've just got my feet up. You know. And
Just like the rest of the work that I do. You
and
keep your feet up.
and the criticism is you're doing a hell of a good job there. Keep it up.
Do you reckon if I plaster over your mouth it'll hold?
Oh, I don't know if anything could stop me like that. Oh, I'm gonna get it quite thick there, eh?
Yeah, well.
No, it's totally my bad for drilling in the wrong hole.
Yeah, so this is your fuck up.
This is you fixing my fuck up. So, any tips for the would-be jibbers of the world?
No, because I am not a gibber myself. And this is not gibber's plaster.
Alright, so now we just gotta wait for that to dry, and then we can sand it down and paint it. And maybe we do another layer of the plaster, I don't know, to
Paint it?
see how it goes. I want to paint it? No.
No. Well, if we're going to replace the roof, I don't want to do all that work.
Fair enough. Hey, while you're at it, do you want to do this other hole over here that used to be the light switch? You're doing a bang up job. Just put that right over my head. Yep.
Yep. I'm not going to catch the plaster that falls down this time. So I'm going to plop right on you.
This is a great angle too, by the way.
Fuck off. See all my double chins? All my chins.
Ah, it's the baby bump.
Can
The baby bumps.
you even see my face like that?
Yeah.
That's a really gross hole.
Yep.
Ugh.
Did it just drop on you?
Almost.
Nice.
Yuck. Yeah.
Is it? What's it doing there?
It's like bubbling.
So all we got is this ready filled putty. Put the lid on and off. I don't know why we got a big bucket, but because I guess we didn't know how much we're gonna need.
I guess we thought we had more holes.
Yeah. And this tiny little putty knife that Nana really wants back because it's a great little tool.
It's worked a treat.
Yeah. So we probably better get that back to her
Some point.
at some point. We'll wait till level 2 probably.
Yeah.
And then when level 2 hits, we'll pick up these curtains as well, so we can order some tracks and get some curtains. Because that would be good. Alright, so that's that filled. The 2 lights. Again, we're doing that one there just as a trial. See how it goes. And because 1 light down this end of the room wasn't enough. Right, so next up, light switch. And then the next one. And another one. Another one. And, crap. I don't have a ceiling rose and lamp holder. All I got is these. Oh well. If I use, one of our plans is to demolish that bit of the stairwell anyway and have the stairs coming up along this far edge in the lounge here. So hopefully this long-lasting bulb should last long enough for it to not be too much of a pain in the ass, but still a little less than ideal because we're going to have to get that ladder out. But also, a good thing that we've got the ladder that you can adjust the sides to make working on staircases easy, supposedly. And look at that. Oh, you can't see it, but there's all these spider webs. How the hell am I going to clean that over time? Oh well, get a broom. I guess this is like the steepest incline that ladder can do because it's maxed out on one side and shortened up as much as it can on the other to make it a safe angle, but it's still going to be a bit of a stretch. As long as I can grab that cable, should be able to do the rest of it with bits, but yeah, just got to be so safe on stairs. So I'm doing this. Technically I'm standing on the second highest rung on this thing. I'm not sure if it's a WorkSafe thing or just a former company policy or what, but straddling side like this, I think this is perfectly safe because I've got a good sense of balance I understand if you've only got one face of the ladder that you can stand on, then you're supposed to be below the second step so your knees can balance up against the top rung. But this is as safe as balanced as it's ever going to get. So, yeah, nice having your own place. There's that. I'll leave the ladder there for a moment and come to probably that one next. And another one. And the next one. And that one. And we've run out of LED bulbs, so I've just taken the lamps out of these fittings for use in here. Because, let's be honest, these aren't the final locations for lights in this hallway. More than likely, when we strip everything out, and again, redo it, because we want to, we'll be putting a couple of LED downlights just down the centre of the hallway. And probably one centre of that door. I don't know, we'll figure it out. But, yeah, this is just temporary. But, again, temporary enough to last a couple of years if it has to, because we've got to try and figure out where exactly this budget's going to go. Like, absolutely want to replace that sooner rather than later, because RCDs are a fantastic thing. But also, that's a couple grand at least, probably between $2 or $3 grand to replace something like that. So, but yeah, depending on how many circuits you got and a whole bunch of other factors. Don't quote me on it, but it gets up there. So yeah, the question is, do we insulate this first and then jib and plaster and paint all this, because that's probably a couple grand? Do we do our bedroom first? Getting a new car, because I just sold mine away last night. Bit of a sad moment, really. But okay, enough chatter. This thing. Oh yeah. How you going, Emma? You good? You sanded all this down?
Well, not all of it. I just sanded the fronts of the drawers down.
Fronts of the drawers? Yeah. Oh yeah. Cool. So that's her new new tall boy cabinet, new wardrobe thing. Shout out to Mr. Kane. Appreciate it, bro. Thank you. Yeah, we'll get some export to you at some stage for that. Yeah. Sure. Just as an aside, so there's always this loop terminal down the bottom on a new light switch, and they give you one of these little connectors as well. But I always like it when you get into having quite a few wires in the same box, just to use a secondary little connector, as we call them, and keep your neutral and earths separate. You can use that loop terminal to have your blacks and your greens and keep them tucked and out of the way, and use that to hold them together. But as the switch is already going to be busy enough having all of that in it, I think it's just a lot cleaner and a lot nicer to have these separate and away, not also try to cram them in the back of the switch where things are so close. Just makes it a lot easier on yourself. And if you can, why wouldn't you? So that's another one. Right, well, I got a little distracted, put this flashbox in, and well, that's that one done temporarily anyway. So, gorgeous little sunset out there. We will take this light switch off and throw that in the back of that so we don't forget it. So, one of the more common things you do in the electrical world is never take anything for granted. So I've just taken this switch off, and you can sort of see that red wire has a split where whoever was stripping it back just must have used a knife, I suppose, and cut all the way into the insulation, and the copper is showing there. So again, when they push that back in, that could have livened up the back of this box. So one of the more common tests that we do in the electrical world is continuity. So I can't prove right now or know for certain which of these two red wires goes to the feed or the switchboard or the other light switch, and which one goes up here to my light. So to find that out, I'm going to first go and ask the question, is this switch on? Yes. So if I go off, it doesn't make a noise. So, a good example of proof, test, prove. The dust poles here, we're getting some funny readings. Took the batteries out, tested them, and yeah, one of them was 0.9 volts instead of 1.5, so replace the batteries and the tool's not broken. So, back to what we were trying to explain. This is all shoddy. That was exposed, I think I went over that. And we've got to first prove which direction this switch is open and closed, because I'm not too familiar with this particular style of switch. But in one of them, this is weird to do. This is weird to do. You hold it?
Yep.
Okay. So, one of them is flashing, and the other one, we've got full continuity. So, that tells me that that's the switch in its on position, and that's off, which is fine. So, now what we're going to do is continuity between the neutral and where we know this was fed from, which is over on that light switch here. Emma's going to quite simply touch the red and the black wires together, like so. And I'm going to take the light bulb out, because that'll mess up my results as well. Because otherwise there's continuity through the light bulb for you young players. And we have nothing on one side and continuity on the other. So take off the two cables here, and on and off and on and off. Perfect. So this one here is our feed wire and is the one that we're going to replace. This one goes to the light, and that's the one that we're going to leave in for now. And that is how you fault find and test. And another one. And a lot of guys will be saying that you know, by having a heavy length hanging out the light switch, you'll be wasting cable, and you know, every couple of 100 mils of cable you save at each light switch adds up over a long job. And they're right, like over a long big project, it would add up. But also fuck those guys, because this house is going to change. It's going to change quite a bit. It's not like I'm cutting off and completely disposing of a bunch of length. I'm pushing that length back into the cavity, or it'll be going up into the ceiling. Just for flexibility of not knowing exactly where we're going to go in the future. So it's not like it's going to waste. And if it is, if it's a couple 100 mils over half a dozen power points, like it's like $6. It's or $15. Like, it's not a crazy amount of money that we're losing out on. Plus, it makes it a lot easier to have it out and accessible. You can do what you like and not have to be working right inside the box. It's a lot more comfortable to be doing it this way. So, yeah, just thought I'd say that. So that one's pretty much done. I'll screw that back up to the wall. This one here is done, and we put that cover back around because I don't know if it's made of an old toilet seat or what, but it's the tidiest thing we're going to be able to do. We're getting pretty dark here. What's the time, Emma? Like 6:30? 7 o'clock?
You literally have my phone.
Yeah, true. But your phone's silly. Yeah, 7 o'clock. So I'll throw a battery into this work light. Can't recommend enough for the sparkies out there that they get themselves a work light. If you ever go to like a burn up switchboard, or you're working overtime at night, or these things come really, really, really handy for all sorts of things. So just to have one even available in the workshop probably be a good idea. Because positions like this, while it is good to have just a normal torch or a normal bloody headlamp, it just helps a lot to be able to see where you're walking, shit like that too. So, yeah. Just wanted to say how much I'm loving, I know it's an absolute mess, but how much TPS we're getting in here now. It's starting to look like it should. And going to have to double up on this particular one here, but yeah, no. It's coming along, this whole thing. And all of these we won't go to waste either when we upgrade to the new switchboard, because the new switchboard will have DIN rail mounted RCDs and MCBs. But we'll be able to put them probably in the subboard downstairs, or we'll do a different sort of style board down in the shed maybe, and just have the RCD protection up here. So, or we'll figure it out. But what I'm trying to say is they weren't useless, and because these trips the other night when Emma used it, I'm much happier that these were able to do that instead of a fuse that had already blown a few times. So, no, always good to upgrade your circuit protection. So, all done. We have no explosions. We'll turn that one on because that one was cool before. Bedroom works. Switch on off. Cool. Cool. Make sure the hallway doesn't go. Bedroom. Cool. I'm pretty sure there's no little light out in that conservatory. And this one. Cool. Righto. So that's the bedroom circuits, sweet, and we have light in the stairwell. That's good. We have that one, and it's potentially a blown bulb, but yeah, the two-way works. This light switch, and again, potentially a blown bulb. But it won't be. Might have got that in the wrong terminals. That would be a little bit silly. Here's my problem there. That wire had pulled out. So I've reconnect that in, and this will go. We'll call it a night and call it done. I just wanted to go and show you just how much we've replaced so far in this. So. Yeah, right. See you tomorrow.